Have you ever seen a man so tall that even Shaquille O'Neal looks like a child standing next to him? That's the first image most people saw of Abidon Adyok, better known as Big Niga. Standing at a staggering 7'11", he didn't just tower over regular people, he made NBA legends look like guards in his presence. The video of Shaq posing with him exploded online in 2021, making Big Niga an overnight sensation and sparking one of the strangest basketball mysteries of the modern era. Who was this giant? How could someone nearly 8 feet tall go unnoticed for so long? And why, if he truly was the biggest prospect in basketball history, did he never make the NBA? At first glance, his story seemed too good to be true. In an age where players like Victor Wembanyama and Zach Edey dominate headlines at 7'4", a man nearly half a foot taller than them felt unreal. Social media didn't hesitate to crown him the next big thing. Clips surfaced of him palming a basketball with 2 fingers, casually dunking without leaving the ground, and hitting jumpers with a single hand like it was child's play. Fans were certain he'd be drafted, certain that this was the next freak of nature destined to dominate the league. But as the dust settled, cracks began to show. The first sign of trouble came from the NPAC Youth Basketball League in Dubai. Videos showed Big Niga playing there. But when curious fans did some digging, they discovered something odd. The league was exclusively for players under 14 years old. That meant this 7'11" player was being presented as a child prodigy, barely a teenager. Instantly, the internet erupted with theories. Was this really a 14-year-old, or had the world just been tricked? Because if the claim was true, if a 14-year-old had somehow grown to almost 8 feet tall, then basketball had never seen a prospect like him. But that's where the mystery deepened. People who had seen Adyok in Nigeria years before remembered him as already nearly full-grown, already towering at over 7'9". The timeline didn't add up. If he was truly a teenager in 2021, then how could he have been dominating men's university teams years before? The more people looked into it, the more suspicious it became. His background was foggy, his records non-existent, and his story filled with gaps. Fans scoured the internet for articles or stats and came up empty. There was no Wikipedia page, no official biography, just a handful of viral clips and endless speculation. The truth, however, started to surface. Adyok was born in Nigeria and grew up in poverty, so tall that his own home could barely contain him. He couldn't stand up straight indoors without hitting his head on the ceiling. Shoes were impossible to find, his feet so massive that he played barefoot for years. His unusual height gave him attention, but it was also a burden. He developed a noticeable hunchback just from the strain of moving through life at nearly 8 feet tall. Eventually, his size opened doors. A local coach recruited him to play as a walk-on at the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. From there, his story connected to Seun Odigbam, a Nigerian sports icon who had once dedicated his life to developing young athletes in his home country. Odigbam recognized the raw potential, telling Adyok stories of other Nigerian greats who had turned what once felt like a curse into a gift. Inspired, Big Niga began to dream that maybe basketball could be his escape, his way out of obscurity. But there was always something off about the way he was presented to the world. When Shaq posted that video in 2021, the narrative wasn't about a grown man trying to chase a late basketball dream. It was about a supposed 14-year-old phenomenon towering over everyone else. That detail was everything. At 14, he would have been the most unique prospect in NBA history. But was it true? That's when the whispers of age fraud surfaced. In some countries, official birth certificates aren't tightly regulated. Agents sometimes encourage families to lie about ages, giving players more opportunities. The younger a prospect appears, the more attractive they are to recruiters and scouts. And in Big Niga's case, his story started to unravel under closer inspection. Old reports surfaced. A Nigerian article from 2016 listed him at 17 years old back then. That meant in 2021, during his viral explosion, he would have been 22 or 23, not 14. Even Odigbam, the sports icon who once trained him, confirmed in an article that Adyok was around 21 or 22 at the time of his sudden fame. So, why create this story of a teenage giant instead of acknowledging his real age? The answer likely lies with the agents who discovered him. By the time they found Adyok, it was already too late for a traditional basketball pipeline. At 18, with no elite training and no US prep school or college experience, his chances of making the NBA were slim. But if they could repackage him as a 14-year-old prospect, suddenly the narrative changed. Suddenly he was raw, exciting, and filled with potential. It was a calculated gamble to restart his career as if he had just begun. But the gamble failed. People remembered him. Old teammates, old coaches, fans from Africa, too many recognized him from years before. The lie couldn't hold. Scouts grew wary. Colleges backed away. And the NBA, already skeptical of players his size, lost all interest. By the time the truth was out, Adyok's chances were gone. He wasn't a teenage phenom anymore. He was a grown man, mid-20s, with no real game experience at the highest level. The reality is, height alone isn't enough. The NBA has seen towering figures before. Taco Fall, Robert Bobrovsky, Gheorghe Muresan, but even they struggled to find lasting careers. Size comes with problems. Mobility, stamina, injuries, the simple wear and tear of carrying so much weight on joints not built for it. And in Adyok's case, those challenges were magnified. Without the strength training, nutrition, and skill development available to elite prospects in the US or Europe, he was always behind. His viral videos showed dunks and casual jumpers, but never real competition at a professional level. In the years since, no statistics, no league appearances, nothing has confirmed he ever played professionally anywhere in the world. Instead, he became something else. Content. The giant who went viral. The man who made Shaq look small. Clips of him working out, clips of him smiling with fans, but never the kind of footage that builds a legitimate career. The mystery that made him famous is the same thing that ultimately defined him. Big Niga is the tallest basketball player in the world, but not truly a basketball player at all. It's a story of potential that never became reality, of hype that collapsed under scrutiny. Adyok may have tricked the basketball world for a moment, but time exposed the truth. He was never going to be the next Wembanyama. He wasn't the future of the NBA. He was a viral phenomenon whose size shocked the internet, but whose path to greatness was blocked by age, circumstance, and the unforgiving reality that height alone doesn't build a career. And yet, there's still something haunting about his story. Because for a brief time, people believed. They believed in an 8-foot giant who might rewrite the future of basketball. They believed in the idea that someone so extraordinary could defy all odds. Maybe that's why Big Niga remains unforgettable, even if his career never took shape. So what do you think? Did agents ruin his future by trying to manipulate his age? Or was Big Niga simply too tall, too unprepared, and too late to ever have a chance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next story. Because in the world of basketball, sometimes the tallest tales aren't about who made it, but about who almost did.